It's our biggest story of the day here at Multimedia, and we're staying with it a little longer. It's been a day of neglect, grief, and anguish, as I said earlier, in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi, as reactions pour in for the Joy News Project's special assignment, Next to Die by Seth Kwame Boateng, which that documentary highlights maternal and child deaths as a result of lack of space and logistics at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. Today, residents of Kumasi and those who've actually fallen victim to the situation at the hospital have been sharing their experiences. Here's one man who lost 2 babies at the facility, speaking earlier on the AM show, and also which was also live on Joy 99.7 FM.
It was on 16th of February 2013 that she delivered of a baby girl.
That's your wife?
Yes, she delivered of a baby girl. And the weight of the baby was 4.5. So there was the need for, it was cesarean section. Yeah, so I was told to go out and then come back for about 3 hours time. So 3 hours time, see, MBU men are allowed to come to MBU to take care of their babies. So the first day that I went, I couldn't see my baby very well, to the extent that the court that was supposed to take about 3 babies, I had about 8 of them. So
including yours?
Yes, including my baby. So I started murmuring. So is that a situation here? So I went out that particular period while the baby was at the court. So I went to where my wife was, and I asked whether he has gone to see the baby. He said, no, he has not, because of the cesarean section. Fine. The next day, only to be told that my baby has had an infection. So I did not understand that why an infection. So that is the situation here. So master, there is nothing that we can do unless we treat the infection. I said, well, I have no option than to accept.
So at this point, the baby was still sharing the court with 7 other babies?
Yes, yes. And besides, they suspected that the baby may be diabetic because of the weight. That's what I was told. Yeah. So the baby may be diabetic. So the next day that I was told that the baby has had an infection. So there was the need for them to treat. So I was there every morning, every evening. So the 5th day, I asked the condition of the baby, and the doctor told me that there will be a possible discharge of the baby. So
the baby was getting better?
Getting better. So that very day that we were discharged, we came home. That midnight, I traveled, only to be told the next day that, gentleman, your baby is no more. So I couldn't believe it. So is that the case?
The baby died at home?
Yes, he died at home. So a gentleman in the house,
the
very day that we were discharged. Okay. So a gentleman took my baby to the hospital because of the situation that they saw at that particular midnight, because I was not available. If I were there, I would have taken my baby to the place. So the gentleman assisted. Fine. So the baby died, so I had no option. God being so good, for record's sake, on 4th April 2014 was the second one. So I decided not to come to MBU again because of what I saw. I took the second one to Central Hospital. So that particular midnight as well, the first one was in the afternoon, but the second one, she was in labor at midnight. So when we went there, they told us that no, the tummy is too much, and for that matter, they can't. So we have to go back to Komfo Anokye Hospital.
How did you feel when they said that to you?
So to be frank, I was in a dilemma at that particular period. Should I go or I should get to any other private hospital? Because what I saw at the mother and baby unit was very, very worrisome. So I took the baby to Komfo Anokye again, and it was a normal delivery, this time around, not a cesarean section. So they took the baby back to MBU again, so I told myself again, and the weight was 4.5 again. As I said earlier, they always do suspect that 4.5, the baby may be diabetic. Yeah. So the same problem. The baby was there. That was the first time that I saw bed bags, where the baby's cot, that I saw the bed bags. So I said, wow. So do you have bed bags here? That it means that we are not safe in this hospital.
And this time around, was your baby in a cot alone, or?
That's an excerpt from this earlier this morning, a conversation that part of our Finish This Now conversation, like I said, that's happening. Let's go now, live now to Tamale and speak to the Universal Access to Healthcare Coalition. Sidra Hall is with them. He joins me on the telephone line now. Thank you very much for your time here on The Pulse.
Thank you, and good afternoon to all listeners.
Right. You've been promoting health issues in Ghana for many years now. How does this whole discussion make you feel?
I must be very honest that I feel very sad listening to the account of the gentleman who lost baby under very serious conditions. At a time in the history of this country, we just celebrated our 60 years. And one is wondering whether these are the kind of stories we should be hearing. It's very pathetic, and his experience is just one that many of the numerous people who go through this kind of situation. And I must tell you that there are so many people who sometimes feel so helpless just because of the terrible conditions of our health facilities. Now, in the case of Komfo Anokye, and particularly this facility that we are talking about, you go to a teaching hospital, that is Komfo Anokye, just like Kolebu and Texas Military. These are the facilities that should provide the best of care that we can think of in this country. Right. It's like the last stop. Yeah. That is what we should have, the top-notch care. But these places tend to be like the dumping ground. They tend to be like the places that people rather go and die more than to have life. And it mimics after what happens or pervades in our public health sector. You go to public health facilities, and the place is so filthy and so smelly that people don't even want to go. You know, now let's look at it critically. This facility, I understand, started in 1974. Yeah. So,
but then they've explained this morning they've explained also that it was not the same. This was not. I mean, the level at which it is was not the same 43 years ago, and that it appears that there's been gradual update or gradual upgrade on this facility up until now, which is why we have we're at this level, or we see it at the level that in which it is, or at which it is.
Whatever way you look at it, the facility is not at the level that it's supposed to be. Right. We shouldn't have that kind of situation we had, because 1974, so that's so many years. Yeah. Why is it that we haven't been able to complete it and give babies and children the best place or the best care that they need? Because if you have this facility, you know, children or babies, they are very vulnerable. Their immune system is not developed.
But as you see it, how do you think we can solve it? Because here at Multimedia, we're committed to getting closure to this matter, really. And that's why we're embarking on this massive campaign, if you like. So as you see it, what is the way to go about it? What should be done, and who should take the most of the pressure that we're mounting?
Okay. The leadership of the facility, and precisely the CEO, have to take the responsibility of making sure that the children's unit has is befitting for the children that are sent to that facility? And how does he go about it? He has to provide the leaders in terms of looking for funds from both private and public sector, from corporate institutions, and giving himself an objective and timeline as to how he's going to deliver that facility.
Right.
I understand that he may not have the resources and he has other challenges, but if he set himself together with his team and they assess and know how much actually is needed to finish the facility and make it usable, and then he can then go out to corporate organizations and also from their internal generated funds and then to government. Then he can say that, okay, government, this is how much we need to finish the facility. This is the current condition of the facility. From our own resources, we have this amount. Can you give us this amount? You go to corporate organizations, identify key corporate organizations, let them know what the challenge is, let them know what they need to fix it. Corporate Ghana will be able to come and also support. I think that is the way to go.
That is the way to go. So as an NGO, your organization, as you've been made aware of this particular campaign, what do you think is a role that you could play in this multimedia campaign?
I think that as a social organization, increasingly, we keep on saying that government has the overall responsibility of creating the enabling environment and making sure that there is healthcare services available for everyone that is living in Ghana, irrespective of where you live. And we are even looking beyond Komfo Anokye. This situation, it is not only limited to Komfo Anokye. We have so many public health facilities across the country, including Kolebu, including 37, including the Tamil Teaching Hospital, Keko Teaching Hospital, and many more of the regional health facilities. We need to invest more and make sure that people don't die needlessly. There are so many lives that are being lost that are not supposed to die.
Okay.
And everybody must be held responsible. And one other key important thing is that whatever health resources are sent, people that are responsible must be held to account in terms of how the resources are used. That is also very important. We must make sure that resources get to where they are supposed to go to and are used for what they are supposed to use for. And it means that the civil society and ordinary citizens must also hold these people in positions of trust responsible. It means making information available and reporting people when the need arises.
Okay. We'll say very big thanks to you for your time here on The Pulse and for adding your voice to this campaign that we're commencing here at Multimedia. Well, let's go live to Kumasi now and speak to Kojo Youngson, host of the Super Morning Show. He's been interacting with the people of Kumasi and some opinion leaders there as well. Hello, Kojo. I see you're having a lot of fun.
Yes, it's also a good time in Kumasi, even though we're here for a rather serious mission this time around.
So you've been in Kumasi for the screening of the documentary, of course. You've also interacted with residents there. What has the response been like?
Well, even before the documentary was screened, of course, the conversations had already begun. For most of the people we spoke to, this uncompleted block has actually been there their entire life. They have always had this block there.
Yeah.
And many of them didn't even know what its original purpose was. So they learned from the documentary that it was actually meant to be the new space for mothers and babies and their treatment here at Komfo Anokye. It was a shock to them, particularly because they are used to the status quo in the wards, which is that you go and you queue. No matter how serious your case is, no matter how close to death you or your baby may be, you must simply queue until you have a turn at surgery or at a delivery bed.
Right.
So they were shocked to find that there was this solution just sitting in their backyard all this time that nobody had bothered to dedicate resources to completing. So they were excited and really expected that once the documentary went out and everybody got to know that some action would immediately start to complete this block and bring relief to all in the community.
So we're talking about shock and excitement at the same time, but then they're looking to, they're expecting results, expecting a solution, a permanent solution. You've engaged people who are supposed to bring, supposed to expedite the solution that we're all looking for. Do you get, I mean, we've heard what they said, but do you get the sense that they're actually really, for sure, committed to bringing about the solution and to bringing about the change that we require in this case?
I would have said yes and just left it at that. Because I think one thing which is clear is that nobody actually wants babies to die.
Yeah.
But today's interaction with Dr. Nsiansari, who is the new Director General of the Ghana Health Service, was interesting because he sought to explain that the Komfo government did more than any other government to develop this project.
And that for you was a major concern because you thought that it would make the conversation political.
At this time, it was a concern for me because at this time, priority has to be these dying mothers and children. And any attempt to demonstrate that one person is better than the other, when all since 1974 have failed, it seemed a very misplaced priority. Who cares who has done better? The job has not been done. And that at this point should have been the focus of how to get the job done, how to ensure that no matter what, we complete this block. Because we have paid taxes for this thing to be done for 43 years.
So the sense you're getting, so the sense you're getting, Kojo, is that there isn't enough commitment? Is that what you say at this point?
Well, what we will need are some timelines from the authorities as to when this will be done, how much money is available and has been allocated for it, and how soon that money will arrive in the accounts of the contractors so they can get back to work. We will need some specifics before we can be certain that this commitment is not just rhetorical, just to quell the passions of the people in the community and across the country, but it is an actual action plan to solve this problem of minimum 4 babies dying every day.
Kojo, I've just spoken to a civil society organization who are into health, and what they're saying is that they blame leadership of the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital. So, they're saying that they should or could have done better. They could have pushed for work to be done on this block. You've been there. What is the sense among the leadership of the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital, the medical directors, etc.? What's the sense there?
Well, I've got to say that the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital actually doesn't make funds that they do not use. Let's be clear on that. They don't make money, leave it in an account, for it to gather interest without making use of it.
Right.
They are firefighting every day. This problem is one of many that they have to commit resources to on a daily basis. Even right there in the mother and baby unit, they are spending money every day. The one thing they can't buy is sleep. That is something which only the new block can provide. But they are spending money training people, sending people out into the community to do outreach, which helps with maternal health care so that there will be less mothers needing referrals to the unit. And they have brought referrals down. So they are doing something. The argument could be made that perhaps more can be done. I wouldn't begrudge anyone. Just that, especially if they can demonstrate areas in which the hospital could have done more. But I don't think the suggestion that the hospital has sat down for this to happen to them is fair or accurate, because whatever funds they generate internally, they spend. They spend it on things that are meant to improve the health.
Kojo, I'll just find out from you quickly what next in Kumasi for this. For this campaign, as we're running it, what next? Now that we finished with the morning show and everything, what next from there?
Well, there is another live super morning show tomorrow from the premises of Komfo Anokye. This time around, we want to explore the solution. So again, we want to bring all these stakeholders back together and start to figure out ways in which everybody can do something to make this project complete quicker. But also, we'll explore short-term measures, things that can be done here and now to help create some emergency space, if possible, so that these mothers and babies will have some place to be treated rather than have them wait in a queue and die. So tomorrow will be about solutions. We're looking at this evening as well, and there is likely to be a lot of discussion about this on Newsnight, on Joy 99.7 FM, where, of course, we will continue to explore all of the themes that were raised this morning. We heard from some victims, the father, Mr. Owusu, and the mother, Mrs. Arthur, who have been through this system. The father, unfortunately, losing 2 babies in the process. And we're going to see whether we can garner a few more thoughts and views on this as we start to make this matter more of a pressing point for the people in charge, so that tomorrow when we set about looking for solutions, everybody is on board.
Okay. How's Mr. Ansah doing? He
doing
had a
well.
difficult time in the morning, reliving
Yes, it was
the
a tough
past.
time for him. But of course, he was not alone. We were all with him. We all felt his pain, and we made sure that he was okay. We gave him the support that he required. But as you can imagine, after losing 2 babies through the system, you know, he received no support. Not a single phone call from the hospital. Not a single social worker or psychiatrist or clinical psychologist. Nobody offered him any kind of support, or to his wife, after they lost children and almost lost a third. And this is a failing of the system. Another thing we need to explore in depth tomorrow and figure out why it is that we don't apply enough attention to mental health, especially as a result of our own failings as a society. Citizens are put through unconscionable mental stress.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Kojo Youngson there. I believe that he's doing well, and I believe the woman is doing well. Mrs. Arthur is also doing well. We thank them so much for sharing their stories, of course. Kojo was speaking about the fact that nobody reached out to them. There hadn't been any counseling for them, for Mr. Ansah, especially, who's lost 2 children and was on the verge of losing the 3rd one. That the fact that there was no counseling. And if you recall, this is a conversation that has been going on since people started committing suicide, or since we've been recording cases suspected to be suicide. One of the major things has been that lack of support system. This is a conversation that will be continuing here on the Pulse. But Seth Kwame Boateng, who did that documentary, has been speaking to some of the residents in Kumasi, and I'm sure you want to hear their very interesting views on this.
My name is Ife Saba Akwa.
And how old are you?
I'm 65 years.
And you said you were a student when this building was, the cut sort was cut for this to start.
Yes, I was in 2nd year doing midwifery in 74 when the sword was cut.
And you served for how many years before retiring?
I worked for 36 years. I started work at 76 and then finished as 2012. So I've gone home for 5 years.
The building is still here?
Yeah, building is still uncompleted. Because we were all excited when the building was about to come up, and yet I didn't work in that place and went home. So when I see it, I become very upset.
You may probably come back as a contract nurse when it's completed.
So by 5 years, I've done my part. I can't work again.
Thank you very much. Another gentleman here. What's your name, sir?
My name is Tony Odro.
And you have been listening to the conversation. What's your take?
I think that I'm very happy for today, what is going on. At least it gives the sense that there's an urgency with this project that needs to come on. Because for me, when the project started, I was about 1 year old. And still I've come to meet it. I'm working here, and still the project is not complete. It saddens my heart.
So what do you make of suggestions that have come up?
I think they are very good, but where I also join them in solving this problem is that it's not, we can't also limit it to only the building, that maybe when the building is completed, all our problems concerning these mortalities will be solved. There are other things that also come in.
Thank you. Let's also move to another man here. What's your name, sir?
I'm James Munisagra.
Okay. You have also been monitoring what your bosses have been saying. What do you make of their suggestions, and what suggestions do you also have?
That's laudable. I think that's a good move. I want to add that I work in this facility, and sometimes it's frustrating when you go to the place and then because of congestion, you don't have space to deliver the acquired things that you are supposed to deliver. And I think that maybe we may have to go an extra mile to ensure that this building is completed so that we can save a lot of souls.
Okay. And the former CEO, Dr. Nasari, is promising that they're going to finish this project, and he's now the Director General of Ghana Health Service. What do you make of his assurances?
Well, we will all be happy if this project is finished because we've seen a lot of congestion in the wards and all that. But we just hope that it's not going to be like the typical Ghanaian thing where we make a lot of noise and after some time it just dies off and that is it. So that is what we pray doesn't happen. So
Seth Kwame Boateng interacting with many of the workers, of course, and some residents over there. Well, he keeps referring to what the director has said. Let me bring to you what he says. He's the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Nsia Asare. He's been assuring that government is committed to completing this 43-year-old abandoned project at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital in this current term of the NPP administration. Representing the Health Minister on the national conversation that we've premised, we here at Multimedia premised special assignment documentary dubbed Next to Die. The doctor said that governments have made budgetary allocations towards the completion of the project, except that those funds have been inadequate. He's, however, certain that efforts are rife in completing the project soon and very soon.
The hospital we earmark funds every year for the budgetary allocation. You see, I cannot complete my statement by not saying that since 2009, no money has been allocated. That's why I'm saying that, you see, Ghana government has a lot of things to do. So if you want to finish a project, which is not loans, then you have to, as a government or as anybody in authority, to put budgetary allocations for it, and then hoping that within the next 2-3 years it will finish. We are all not, you see, the reason why I'm saying is that you see, it was a commitment which was made by President Komfo, and I was part of our policy statement and policy documents in health. This building, we are committed to finish it within this term of this NPP government. And maybe people don't know, only last week, exactly a week ago, a group of people came here. Now we know that we should have extra budgetary allocation, what we call earmark funds, which maybe you have to take a loan or we do something. We send people came here. People are now knocking at our doors that they want to come and finish this. You see, if you want any loans or anything to finish this building, because the building is already about 60% complete, it becomes difficult because anybody who is coming to bring money wants to bring his own contractor. But this is a group, about 2 sets of people who have come, and they have come to have a look only last Tuesday. I'm not too sure if they passed through the administration. But I'm aware because I'm in Accra and know what is going on. So what I want to
take it that, could you just before you come in, do I take it that there was a break from 2009 until very recent because there was a change in administration? I know you don't want to go there, but can I just stay there for a while?
To be honest, I think it's actually a pity, Mama B, that we are making that the problem? Issue.
Yeah, let me tell you something. In 2009, there was supposed to be a 10 million from National Health Insurance Authority.
$10 million?
10 million Ghana cedis to continue with this building. I was here till September, August when I left.
2009,
yeah,
same
2009,
year. Okay.
I don't believe the money came. And then later on in 2013 or so, there was part of the oil money, which we call ABFA money, which was supposed also to have been used to also continue, maybe complete this building. I don't think it came. So as I sit here, I can tell you that I have not seen any serious work on this building since the change of government in 2000. That's why I'm telling you that, you say we shouldn't go there, but I'm telling you that we are so committed, because I'm part of it, the system. We are so committed as a Ministry of Health to complete this building. I'm just from budget meeting only on last Saturday. We are going to put in money to complete this building, because let me tell you something. If you have this building from 1974 when the sword was cut up to today, and we are not using the building to save lives, as the man and the woman came here to say, that because of congestion, there's infection, there's cross-infection, all these things, then there's no return on investment, period.
Is it political? Is it not political? Is it that there are still political undertones that we can't ignore as we discuss this issue? We've got more on that running. And tomorrow, like Ojo said, we will be looking more at the solutions. What is it? Where can we get that help from? You're still here on The Pulse with me, Gifty and Doppy. I'm going to take a very quick break. When I return, I've got some more news. We go to Golden Tulip when we ask what's happening to workers there. Please stay.